earlier on in our relationship.
Yeah.
We had to figure it out. I wasn't fully ready. Like Donna wouldn't know. Like I'll jump off a cliff and I'll fall in love in 2 minutes. but I had to take it. But I was like, I didn't want that to happen in this relationship because I liked Lisa, and I wasn't really. Hey.
All his friends are like, you can look at Kamal and he will be in love with you, and then meanwhile he's like, I don't know if I'm
That's
ready.
not true.
And I'm like.
Let's get some intros going, man. I know you,
yeah,
but I never met Lisa.
Lisa, come on over.
Hi.
Yo, this is Lisa. Her real name Lisa. Do you need your whole name?
Who would have never guessed that, Kamal?
So this is Don on the right. That's Whitney on the left.
So yes, I'm Don. This is my wife, Whitney.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all doing this. I'm excited about this recipe.
Because I think you could be good at cooking. It's just a matter of sometimes following directions. But also a touch of soul.
A touch of soul.
Something like that. Because you got to know, like something that some things you just know need a little bit more of something. And you have to be able to pinpoint that.
And I like the vibe right now. It's cool. We're chilling. We'll get the ingredients and stuff, get the pizzas in the oven. And when we get to the table, we'll be able to like really get in-depth conversation. All right, so tell me what I need to do. How do I get started?
Right. Please, what's first?
All right, let's taste it.
I'm ready to taste this pizza.
The first expression usually let you know what people think.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got one.
Is it okay? Like, be honest.
You got one.
Yeah, it's really good.
This is really good.
Good, right? This is good because Kamal and I's taste with food are a little different. Kamal is like a little, in my opinion, he's like a little picky. So we're limited sometimes in like what we can like make and share for dinner, and it gets like a little bit mundane. Like we have tacos on Tuesday, you know what I mean? Like you can only have pasta so many times a week. So this one was something that like we both really like and isn't super boring.
Yeah, it spices things up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it. It's really good.
Now, Mal, are you a creature of habit? Like just other than just food?
That's a good interview question. I think so. We all are, as humans.
I think when things start being like habitual for you, you like move away from them.
Yeah, usually. Yeah, if I've had enough of it, then I'll roll out. I'll stop doing it. So yeah.
I'm very much a creature of habit.
Lisa's a creature of habit.
But you don't like when food gets boring.
I like to experiment with food, but just like everything else, I'm very like, I work from this time, I'm gonna do this for an hour, like I'm a little bit more. Where Kamal, if he starts to feel like he's doing that, he seems to like all of a sudden be like, no, today I'm in like completely just change it. So we're a little different that way.
All right, Mal, where are these game questions?
I'm trying to pick a good one. Honestly, it could be random. It might need to be random. If you could sit with your 15-year-old self, what would you tell him or her?
Pretty sure I was in 10th grade.
10th grade? Oh, 10th grade down.
10th grade was the life. I was living the life in 10th grade.
Yeah, what was going on? Everybody prom and
Yeah.
living it up.
I think I would tell my 10th grade self though, like it will all come in time. And I think that was one of the things, like, because like 10th grade was a really good year for me. But I think also I needed to understand over the next couple of years that like your friendships will be solidified in time, and that's okay. You know, your relationship solidified in time, that's okay. What whatever you want to do with your life, solidified in time. Heck, I still don't know what I want to do with my life some days. Like some days I'm like, yeah, I just want to be a stay-at-home mom and live my life. And then other days I'm like, no, like I'm going to take over the world, and I feel empowered to be the next Beyonce, even though I don't sing your dance, right?
Lise, what about you?
I would tell my 15-year-old self that curvy girls will one day be in, and you don't have to be a size 2.
Yeah, they used to hate on it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's not wild. I mean, I get it, but it's crazy because you never really understand how that continues to play on somebody's psyche as they get older.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, like
We can leave it at that.
you got a bubble. Like I told you. Like she was like, "What did you like the first date?" I was like, "You had a bubble. Like, what you want me to say?"
That was his feedback though from our first date. He was like, he liked my shape, and I was like,
if you didn't, I wouldn't be there.
What? How about my brain? Like, I thought we had great talk
we can talk later, but all that stuff. Like, hips don't lie. So, yeah.
But that's so funny because we were literally just talking. I was literally just talking to some of my friends about the Shanti Keisha Cole versus that was supposed to happen this weekend. And like I was saying how I was like, oh, like I used to love Ashanti because she had big legs. And when I was in high school, I was very much like I had big legs, but I was so like, oh, no, like cover them up, like they're too big. But when she was out and about, and people were like, oh, we love Ashanti, she has beautiful legs. I said, oh my gosh, like somebody who's brown skin with big legs and she's making noise. Like, yes. So I felt so affirmed in that as a high school girl. And I mean, I think it seems super minor, but it's so big, like when you're in high school, right? Like to feel affirmed in your shape and your body, all of that matters. Representation matters.
All legs matter.
All legs matter, really.
All legs
do matter. You said me? If it was me, I would say she's not the one.
Oh my God.
She's not the one. Probably, I think if I can say anything, to just be mindful of how you use money. I think that's important. You know what I mean? I think, of course, we talk about financial literacy and knowing how to use money and how to make money work for you. And I don't think that was something that I watched my mom. She didn't struggle, but I didn't really get too many lessons on what it looked like to use money in a productive way. You know what I mean? Because I think it was more so she was just making sure that we were taken care of. But she didn't own anything. It wasn't like she was like having small business meetings with friends and stuff like that. So that's not something that I thought about. I had a job, but it wasn't like I was being mindful and aware of how I was spending. I wasn't overspending the money, but I wasn't being thoughtful in how I used it. But knowing that habits start early, like that's something that I had to break out of, but it's like something that I struggled with through my 20s, you know what I mean? And just, she said Don didn't answer. I was like, well, that's when he's going to have like trajectory float down.
Not a bad idea. No, I think when I think about my 15-year-old self, I think like for a long time, and actually it is, I do talk about this in my book. But like in like the identity section, like I talk about how like most of my life, it felt like I was putting on a facade, right? Like trying to be the person that I thought other people wanted me to be. Whether it was to fit in, to make family happy, to get the girl, whatever it was. And I think it wasn't really a freeing experience. So I think I would just tell my 15-year-old self, like, live for you.
Or what's the best thing you've learned from your mother?
Make time for the things that are important. That's always been a big one that's always stuck with me.
When I think about my mom, and I often think about like some of the things that we've talked about, I can never, or the sort of like the interactions that we've had, I never really ever thought that she ever doubted that I couldn't do something, or thought that I was unable to do something. And it's weird because I hear kids talk about their teachers like, yeah, you said I wasn't going to make it, teacher. It's like, And even some people's like parents tell them like, I don't think you can do this. But I never felt or never even had an experience where my mom said that I couldn't do anything. Yeah. And so I kind of like not even knowing it kind of move in that way. Like when even something like My Boss Kitchen, I'm just gonna do something and see how it goes, but not having a fear of like what people are gonna think about it, or that it's a possibility that I couldn't succeed at it.
What your mama teach you, Lise?
Lise is close to her mom.
It probably annoys Kamal, but
it doesn't.
My mom is like the best person I know, but like I'm convinced that anybody else knows as well. But I do think like above everything, and truth be told, it is like both my parents, but you know, we're talking about moms, and it is like, especially with her, I just think like just generally unconditional like love and support. I have not one, and like this is consistent through my life. I cannot think of a time where I was ever like so concerned to tell my mom something like bad that I did, that I thought, like whatever, and thought that she wouldn't like fully not only support me, but like love me. And I just, as I get older, I just am seeing how like rare and like special that is. I could tell my mom that like I killed a man and she would be like, well, I love you, but let's talk about why. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it like I said, it's truly both of my parents, but it just feels nice to know that that's out there, because it's something that I feel like I want to like put back into the world, whether it's via like my friends, whether it's via like a child or a partner.
Yeah, because I like what you hit on, because I was going to ask you, does that spill into your relationship? Like, are you the one that gives the grace?
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah, she does.
Even with Kamal, like, you know, you meet people and you're kind of like, well, what are you in this for? Like,
I was still dating.
Yeah.
But I thought it was important because I never really dated.
Fine. But then my whole thing was, I don't care what you're doing. I just need to know what you're doing. Because I'm not going to be sitting in the house like feeling guilty about returning a text message or, you know, going out if you're already out. Like, excuse me. And I don't really care either way. Like, I just kind of need to know so that I can like manage my own expectations. But I'm like very good at cutting people off. Like, I don't really have a problem being like, oh my God, it was so nice to know you. So, you know what I mean? Like, and with Kamal, like, I don't know, I just really couldn't cut him off.
What accomplishment are you most proud of from this year?
I can answer that question. For me, I was able to tap in like 100% to my family. Like we locked down, so like we had no visitors. And we were working 100% remotely, so we were together every minute of every day, and it was different, but it allowed us to really like tune into each other.
But I think it's similar to what you said. I think just learning each other. I don't know how many couples fared during the quarantine, but we didn't really skip a beat, like miss a beat. I think I'm the happiest I've ever been, so I can say that like, oh God, that's why I don't say stuff like that. Learning aspect of each other, you know what I mean? And I don't think I'm not tired of her. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing to say, but pretty much like we're good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like we're happy with each other. It's not a matter of being like settling at all. It's more so just a matter of like we're in we there's a good balance, and we rock out with each other. It feels good, and so it hasn't been really too many issues, and we've saved a whole bunch of money. And this isn't a Geico commercial, but like we've just and it's stuff we're cool with, and so we still made the most of the time that we have, and we did our first Thanksgiving, which we didn't think we would have to do. So she said, like she's huge on family. She wasn't able to make it home this year. So that was big.
I mean, really, I think my greatest accomplishment would be getting really comfortable with myself. I mean, I think quarantine, for one, like forced a lot of people to really think about who am I, how do I show up, who do I want to be, like those types of questions. I had the added benefit of turning 30, which I feel like a lot of people just like are like, hey, like I'm going into a new decade. What does that mean for me? So I feel like I had a lot of reflection points, and it made me just be like, oh yeah, like I'm good with where I'm going. I think, and I say that in the sense of like, there's still so many questions, right? Like literally the other day, I was like, what is my zone of genius? Like, I want to get super clear on that and like be able to operate in that. But I'm at a phase where I'm comfortable being like, I don't know what my zone of genius is, and I want to figure it out. And so I think that's one of the things that like literally maybe 3-4 years ago, like I would never been like, oh, I don't know what it is. Like I'm gonna make up something and say that's what right. So I mean, I feel like in that case, like I'm really comfortable being like, yep, like these are the things I know, these are the things I don't know, these are the things that I feel really good about, and these are the things that I want to get more confident in, or I want to get more clarity around, and I'm good with that. So 2020 allowed me to do that, and I feel good about it.
I think that my biggest accomplishment 2020, I don't know, I think just maybe being a little bit more confident in like the way that I communicate. I think that sometimes I think like life is really busy and you can kind of get away with just kind of like touching the surface and be like, oh, that's enough for me, and just, you know, move on. But Kamal, I don't know if it's his job or just like who he is, but he's like much better at kind of just general communications at times. And I feel like I've felt like a lot more confident in like, you know, I see these things, they bother me, they make me happy, they, you know what I mean? And being able to say them out loud and like feel good about doing that is kind of something that for me has probably not been something that I've done well enough to date. So
that's awesome. Yeah, communication is super important.
With everyone, like jobs, Kamal, my family,
everyone. Yeah, no, that's cool. Something I'm still trying to get better at every day.
And I also think that I've learned how important it is because of how little it happened in previous relationships. So, you know what I mean? And once you learn that, it's kind of like, now we got to talk about this. I feel like once you find somebody that's actually able to share and able to say, okay, let me take a step back and think about how I feel and then tell you. Or if you don't want to tell me, then to say like, I need a moment to figure it out and then I'll let you know. Like all of that is important. I just can't like, because if that doesn't happen, it comes out wrong in so many different ways. And so for me, that's important. I think that's why me and Lise like connect in that way. So like, even if we got to say, well, like she's like, I can't find the words, but it's like, all right, well, let's figure it out.
Like, keep trying.
Let's work on like
sign language or something.
Yeah, let's walk it out. You know what I mean? Like, because I know you want to say something because you're letting me know that you feel something, but like just figure it out and talk about
like you're throwing that pot around like you got something to say, and I'm like, wow.
I don't say that. You're trying to make me sound like Bernie Mac. Like I don't say that. I say it like
I'm not throwing it around.
Like I know what it is. Like body language is 85%. I think they said. So
who's that?
I think that's Beanie Siegel said it in the rap song, but he got it from somewhere. 85% of communication is nonverbal.
I agree.
So
you did get that from Hitch.
So you understand that, but yeah, that kind of that communication part is key. And so I don't know what makes a relationship last long. But I know communication is probably important. That's what most people that have been in it for a long time have said. Just being transparent and communicating.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's something that's been really important for us. You know, we've been together for a decent amount of time.
Yeah, and I mean, we still young in this thing.
Yeah.
But you know, I think it's real. I think something that you hit on, Ma, that made me just like think was like experience and time overall, right? Like I said, like we both just hit 30, right? So there's still so many things that we're picking up on, and I think we've had the benefit of growing together over the last few years, like being married for 5 years, being best friends when we met in college. So like we've had the benefit of growing together, and that has like had a different impact on us. But I think just overall thinking about time and experience, right? Like as you get older, you become more confident in things. As you've lived, you're able to actually tap into those experiences that you've had and apply them to other areas or aspects of your life. And so I think that's just something that naturally happens. And so as Ma was just talking, I was like, yeah, like so clear, you know, the people we were even 2 years ago, drastically different, right? So 3 years from now, how's that going to be different?
Because I was a horrible communicator. Because for so long, like another thing that Lisa said that resonated with me, you're good at cutting people off. Like I was the fallback master, right? If it didn't make sense, if it was causing me more stress than it was benefiting me, it would be easy for me just to step away.
Which is why we didn't talk for a year.
Yeah, exactly. Like Whit and I in college went a whole year without talking, like no communication at all. And then when we got back on good terms, it was like that year never passed, which said a lot for our friendship. But still, even like and especially in those days, it would be easy for me to do that. But once we got married, we learned that I
ain't no fallback.
Yeah, fall back to like
you go fall back in the room.
Exactly.
I see you in 5 minutes.
Yeah, a little bit. We gonna run into each other in the kitchen.
Right. Yeah.
So I had to learn how to communicate how I was feeling, and it was super frustrating. With Whit, being a psychology major and going to school for counseling, like she's able to pull those things out of me, but I never had to do that. Right. When I was younger, I used to keep everything to myself, and it always worked for me. But now, like, we've had to learn how to disagree in a more constructive way. Like, we still disagree, it's going to happen, but we had to learn, like, nobody wins an argument. Right. So, like, how do we our goal is to get back good, right? To recalibrate. So how can we do that? Mm-hmm. And that was tough for me, the communication, and then being open and honest with each other. Like, if it's something that's bothering you, like, instead of letting it fester, like you say, you throwing them pots around, that's gonna happen if you keep it to yourself. And there's still plenty of times when I still do that, but we've learned how to at least put it all out on the table. Most of the time, it's just me being bullhead. It's like, I know we're gonna resolve it, but I just want to be mad for a little bit longer. But we always are able to talk through it. I think that's a pillar. That's super important. That open, honest communication.
If a movie was made about your life, what celebrity would play you?
I mean, Tracy Ellis Ross.
Oh my God! Here you go. Love Tracy.
I do.
Love Tracy.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Mike Tomlin.
She thinks I look like the Steelers head coach.
You do though. You guys are literal twins.
No, I was gonna say Idris Elba. What you mean? Wow, loudest laugh of the night goes to Lise.
I mean, do you want them to look like you, or just like that's what you would want?
That's the question: is who I would want to play?
Okay, you're right. So there's no stipulations on looks.
Either right. Idris or Lorenz Tate. So am I overshooting it with Idris?
No, babe, it's not that. You look like Mike Tomlin.
I probably would just go with my OG, my fave.
Gabrielle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
I can for sure see that. She met Gabrielle Union like some years ago. They look like friends in the picture. But I mean, she is
nice person.
Yeah, I was just like,
she acts
part of her job.
Yeah. What's your favorite album of all time?
Album of all time? Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Now, Nina or Michelle had broken up with me right around that album. I played X Factor so many times. That was a good album.
Pretty Ricky Blue Stars is hers.
You're so childish.
She knows every single word to that album.
I believe it. I
mean, it was a good album.
Yeah, it was a good album.
For what it was, right? Like you gotta acknowledge
for the time period.
Yeah. I mean, it's like yeah, I mean I
really, really appreciate talking with y'all. I mean, Mal, it's always good. It's been a minute. I hope y'all can get down here so we can do it in person.
And I'd be glad when all this stuff clears up for multiple reasons.
But yeah, we definitely plan. Like I told her, we need to get down there.
Definitely do that when the stuff clears up. And Lisa, it was a pleasure meeting you.
I know. I've had so much fun talking to y'all.
I know. I'm really glad that I was a little nervous, but this was.
Yeah, she was nervous. I'm like, yo, just be yourself. Don't give him that.
Don't be like.
I was like, don't give him that professional voice where you talk like you just be yourself. They're cool. You know what I mean? They're straight. They good money. So. Yeah, we'll meet in person. We'll talk about food and good wine. And
the funny thing, right, is like I feel like you always know when like the professional voice comes on. Like I even be telling Dom, but I be like, so you're using that professional voice on me right now.
Sometimes you gotta go corporate on it.
But I mean, it's worse because you work at home with each other, right? So you like, I know when you cutting on that voice.
Exactly. I'm like, why were you using that voice right now? Like, I know that's not how you talk. So.
But it was very fun, and I didn't have to use my professional voice, so I appreciate
Perfect. No, it was a really good time.
Yeah, we'll do this again.
And the pizza was good.
Pizza was popping.
Yeah. I hope y'all like this. Seriously.
It's in our repertoire now.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. We'll be around. Dinner party.
All right. Well, you all have a wonderful night.
All right.
Good night.
Y'all get some rest.
Cool. All right. Y'all have a good night.
All right, y'all.
All right.